Hi, welcome to Easybeam. I'm McLean, and I'm here to show you the very basics of getting started with building your first agent. Cool, so let's briefly catalog what's on the screen right now. So from left to right, we have the navigation. In the center, we have the actual canvas where you'll be building the different steps that your agent can go through. On the right on top, we've got the publish and preview buttons. And then we have a hidden menu for some extra actions. And then on the right, we actually have the sidebar that's going to be specific for whatever the currently selected step is. So since we've got the start step selected here, we've got all the information related to that displayed on the right. Going from top to bottom, we can talk really briefly about what all these different things are. The agent version name shows the actual name for that version. So this is just version 1, so it's got a similar name, but if you are iterating, you can imagine you want to have a bunch of different names for every different version. The variables are really important. This concept can get a little bit confusing at times, but the variables are what your agent expects your application to send to it at its time of use. So a couple really common examples are things like username, right? Which is now available to your agent and can be injected into a prompt or in the actual API step, or something like user age or user gender, for example. Next, we have user secrets. A really common example of this is an API key that will be sent to Easybeam from your user so that your agent can take actions on behalf of your user. So if you have an agent that wants to update a database in your system upon user request, you'd include your API key. You don't have to worry about that for now. There's also the preview user secret values. This is a little bit technical, but this is used when you actually want to preview your agent or in your agent tests. So if you have like a development key that you want to be sending from the user to Easybeam, this is the mock value you have for that. And then finally at the bottom, we have our handy dandy little helper modal, which will give you a refresher in all the information that is displayed. Okay, great. Now that we've got an overview of the data that's displayed here, we can talk briefly about previewing and publishing. Previewing is just getting an overview of how your users will actually see the agent. So we can do something here like, I want to see the weather in Minneapolis. And now you can actually see all the different steps that the agent will go through in order to process that message from the user. Yep, there it goes. Pretty cool. Whenever you're ready to make this agent live to your users, all you have to do is hit the publish button, and this will make this current version that you're on live via the API, via our SDKs, or via a standalone solo agent, which is basically a web app interface for your agent. Additionally, we have a couple different actions you can take in the sidebar. If you want to edit the agent name, you can rename it to weather agent really cool, save agent, and now that's reflected in the navigation. You can manage your solo agent. I'm going to come back to this later because it's kind of it's a big topic and it's really interesting, but the short version of it's a standalone website that your users can access your agent with. There's always obviously the see versions option, so you can see all the different versions of your agent. And then there is the duplicate version if you want to create a new version. And then there is delete the version or delete the agent, which are destructive steps, which is why they're marked in red. After you deploy your agent, you're going to want to be using the agent ID when you're referencing it either in code or in the URL to access your solo agent. That will be covered more in a separate part on publishing later, but this is intended just to be the overview for the start step itself.